Recording progress.
Okay, so I put together a PowerPoint for us because we are leveling up all that we're doing here. I don't want what you guys are doing. Like, I don't want you guys to come to your business not having fun. I don't want you guys coming to your business feeling like, am I frozen? No, okay. I don't want you guys feeling defeated in your work. I don't want you guys feeling like you are spinning on a hamster wheel and not seeing fruit. And so this goes back to this movement that we started September 1st of stop the float, start the focus. That's not the best phrase, but it gets the point across. I'm going to make sure I have my internet turned off on my phone. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, thank you. If not, somebody text me or something. So I'm super excited about this focus that we are doing because I think that we've just been floating for a long time. And so if you guys did the Make It to Mexico / now we know it's Maui, Make It to Maui challenge that we did last week or 2 weeks ago, one of the very first assignments was from Kara to set out goals and to map out what that's going to look like to get there. And so we're going to piggyback off of that. And we want this accountability group that we are doing for the next 3 months to have fruit for you. And we want you to have something that you're working towards. I don't want any of us to be on this group just kind of here, just showing up. I want us to be here with purpose and with focus and with goals. Um, and so that's what this is going to be about. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you all. Thank you for your patience. Okay. So we are going to be starting tonight all the way until December 18th. Take some notes if you would like. I have a lot on here, but I'm wanting this to be simplified for you, which is why I put this PowerPoint on. I'm a visual learner, so hopefully this will help some of you. Even if you've been a part of this group for years and years and years, it's time to level up. So what is this? What is our accountability group? Our accountability group is a group of like-minded people holding each other accountable to do the daily work that is required to meet specific goals. We also have daily work activity like check boxes that are tried and true when done with a spirit of self-reflection, growth, positive posture, focus, and intention on goals. So you see there that it's not just the checklist. Like, you see that there's actually more that needs to be put into that with your posture, with your energy, with your focus, with your goals, with your self-reflection. And then the lastly part of accountability group is the weekly training and small group breakouts for coaching and learning from one another, not to mention the incredible community that we get from doing this weekly accountability group. Why is this important for us and for our businesses? So we know, like, success is boring. We know that every person who is successful in business has to fight through the mundane, has to fight through the boring, and has to do the things that may not be fluffy and fun and fancy and frilly. We have to get down and we've got to get actual work done. We've got to show up and do that work every day, even when we're not seeing the fruit. And so why this accountability group is important is because we have one another to encourage each other. We have successful people in this company on this call right now, leading these calls. So we are here to help give guidelines and to support and encourage one another. This group gives us community and focus and accountability, so that way we're doing the meat and potatoes of this business. When we are in the muck, when we are doing the boring things, we have one another encouraging and lifting each other up. This is also a really important thing that we offer, so that way when you have somebody that comes to you and they're ready to do the business, you already have an outlet to plug them in. I don't know if you guys know this, but even if you have somebody join you in the middle of accountability group, you can invite them to come and do accountability with us. This is a really nice way to create duplication, to give your new people guidelines on what to do on those meat and potatoes. And it also takes a little bit of pressure off of you to feel like you're the only one leading them. It gives them community too. James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits, he wrote here, Arguably, the most important skill is controlling your attention. This goes beyond merely avoiding distractions. The deeper skill is finding the highest and best use for your time, given what is important to you. More than anything else, controlling your attention is about being able to figure out what you should be working on and identifying what truly moves the needle. And I really liked this quote specifically for what we're doing with Accountability Group, because we know that this skill of controlling our attention and developing discipline and being consistent, we know that that is what creates results with our company. And I think a lot of times we get tired because we might put in the work for a month or 2 months or 3 months or even 2 years, and we may not see fruit, and so we just get distracted with the frilly things. This quote is perfect for our accountability group because it is showing us what to do with our time to make the very most of our time when we're working our business. So what is it that truly moves the needle forward? He talked about identifying what it is that truly moves the needle forward. So with our business, you hear of this method called the daily high five. We haven't talked about this in a while because we have our own little IPA forms, but I wanted to bring this back as a reminder. I actually saw this for the very first time from Jessica Heffley when I was a silver ambassador, and I remember she posted this in maybe Tamara's team page, and I remember thinking, okay, Jessica is a diamond. She's very successful, and she's telling me that I need to do these 5 things every single day. So I need to do these 5 things every single day. And so I'm going to read these to you because this is kind of what spurred our IPA forms that we've been working off of for the past 5.5 years. So her daily high five for success here in this company, what moves the needle forward, is setting your intention or your goals. So she says revisit those daily and monthly. And I really like that because that really grounds us. So, if my goal, like let's say let's use the analogy of healthy living, maybe wanting to lose some weight. If my goal is to lose 5 pounds in 2 months, and I go to my refrigerator and I see chocolate, I'm going to remember, okay, my goal is to lose 5 pounds. And so I'm going to shut that refrigerator door, and I'm going to go do something else because I know what my intentional goal is. And that's the same here with what we do with Plexus. So you need to know what your goals are and revisit them daily and monthly. She says that you need to reach out to 5 people, and she says to do that a day. Now, you can go at your pace. If you want to fly, then you can reach out to 5 to 10 people a day. But if you want to go at a slower pace, and we'll talk about that in a minute, you don't have to do 5 every day. You also want to be following up with the people that you've reached out to, with your customers, with your brand ambassadors. You want to be there for people. Fortune is in the follow-up. The 4th thing is that you want to do personal development. She says here, read or listen to 10 pages a day. We have so many options out there with amazing podcasts and books and training, and even like training posts on our team pages. I will caution you, this is one ingredient of the entire recipe. I do think that there are times that some people will just show up for the calls or do the training, but they don't actually get into activity, and that's just wasting your time. So that's just one ingredient to this recipe of this daily high five for success. And the last thing that moves the needle forward for this daily high five is posting on social media. She says here, scroll team pages. That needs to be the last thing that you do. That can be a fluff thing. So for us, what we've created is this accountability group. Again, some of you have been here every time that we've done accountability, and some of you are brand new. So we're going to go through this rather quickly. But for our accountability group, these are the non-negotiables that we talk about that will move the needle forward. So writing out what your goal is for the week, knowing what your goal is. So sometimes for me, I'll say my goal is to send birthday messages every single day. That helps me like add value to other people. It kind of like gets me into the rhythm of messaging and connecting with people. So I'll say like do birthdays every single day, reach out to 3 people Monday through Friday, and then follow up with 3 people. So those are some of my goals. And then, of course, you can come back at the end of the week and share what your wins are. Meaning, like, okay, this post, I generated some connections with people on this post, or this follow-up message that I sent, brought about somebody that I've been talking to for weeks on end. So that's kind of an example of a win from the week. So one of the things that we, I'm not going to say require, but this like success here requires is 5 to 15 new connection messages. That is not necessarily birthday messages. Birthday messages, like I was talking about my goals for the week, that was more for me, like adding value to people, seeing other people. But this specifically, the 5 to 15 new connection messages, we're talking inviting them to Plexus, inviting them to come and do the business with you, to hear more about the business because you believe in them. 5 to 10 or 5 to 15 messages asking, hey, Sally, I saw your post the other day about how you're really struggling with migraines. I don't know if this could help you the way that it has some of my friends, but I do have a couple of friends who've seen some relief with Plexus products. Have you ever tried them before? That's a new connection message. A next thing that we encourage you to do, highly encourage for this accountability group, is 5 to 15 follow-up messages. So let's say I reached out to Sally a couple weeks ago about the migraines that I saw she was having. She never followed up with me. She never responded. Well, I saw a post and a story about migraines again, and that made me think about her. So I'm going to send her another message, and I'm going to just say, hey, Sally, I don't know, this is all off the cuff, you guys, but, hey, Sally, I just saw a story about a girl, who started on the Plexus supplements and they really helped her migraines. And it made me think of you. Would you be open to me sending you some information? Don't know if this will help you or not, but thought of you again. That's an example of a follow-up message. Another task in your non-negotiables is to add or to have 5 to 15 customer check-ins or mentorships to your business builders, or additional connection messages. So in that would be like, maybe you say, every day, Monday through Friday, I'm going to follow up with one customer and just check in on them and see how they're doing. Hey, Sally, I'm so excited that you got your products. I'm very, very hopeful for you. And in migraine relief, hey, tell me, you've been on the products for a couple of days. Are you noticing any positive changes, maybe with your mood, with your digestion, your sleep, your cravings, or what is the other one? I can't remember. Energy. Like, are you noticing anything like that? So that's an example of a check-in. Maybe mentorship to business builders. You've got a couple of girls under you who are saying they want to do the business. Maybe you just watched a really great 5-minute training video on how to get to silver. Maybe you reach out to them and say, hey, I just thought of you when I saw this video. I think this would be great. Would you like me to send it to you? That's the type of connection that we're talking about. This is a relationship business, which is why you're seeing the bulk of what we're doing here is with people. The next one is 5 days of training or personal growth. Again, I'm not going to talk a lot on that one. We have so many different resources out there. Also, if you're doing our book study, that counts as your training or your personal growth. But again, that's just one ingredient out of the whole recipe, so don't just land there. And then the fifth thing that we highly recommend as a non-negotiable for accountability group work that you're putting in every day, Monday through Friday, or 5 days a week, would be your social media posting and stories. Now, I want to remind you here, I really loved, I listened to a Brittany Howard podcast a few weeks ago, and she was talking about posting, and she said posting generates leads, but that does not usually generate sales. It is the communication and connection that you have with people that generates sales. So if you are kind of relying on posting and you may not be seeing a lot of fruit, I encourage you to think about that. Posting might generate leads, but that doesn't necessarily always generate sales. So that, again, is just why it's one of our 5 ingredients. So how does this look when documenting your work for accountability groups? So we showed you like the non-negotiables of what you need to be doing when you sit down to do your work. How does this look? Because that is one of the, I say requirements, that sounds like such a strong word. We're not going to kick anybody out, but this is accountability group, and this is what we strongly encourage you to do. Take documentation of your work every day. That allows your people to not slip through the cracks. that also allows you to see your productivity or maybe your inactivity. Maybe you have sat down at the computer for 2 hours and then you look at your list, your documented work. Is documented, is that a word? I think so. Document, whatever. When you look at your work and maybe you realize, oh gosh, like I haven't even reached out to anybody. I haven't followed up with anybody. I haven't done any training. I've just kind of been on social media. Like I posted it. It took me 18 hours to post. Like that kind of gives you that good self-reflection of what you're actually doing. So documentation is very important. So how does this look? So we have in our Rising Jewels Accountability Group Facebook page, we've got different forms. I'm going to update it tonight, but we have a post that has different forms that you can use at your leisure. So these are just ideas and examples. So hear me when I say you are not married to any of these forms. This just gives you different ideas of how you can be documenting your work. So you'll see on the left, that's a pretty generic, like a reminder of what you need to be doing daily. And then on the right, that's even more specific, where you're writing out people's names of who you've reached out to, who you've followed up with, who you've done as customer care, what you've done for your training, what you've done with your posts, wins and struggles. So you can see that there are different options here, but this right here would be a faster pace option. And I say that because if you see on the left side, it's 5 follow-ups daily, and we don't have on here 5 reach out daily, but it's a bigger quantity of stepping up into your workload. Same with this one on the right. That's showing that you're reaching out to at least 3 people a day. So that's going at a faster pace, which if you know that 1 out of 10 people statistically will respond to your messages, and you're only sending out, 1 message a day, then you are going to grow much slower than the person who is reaching out to maybe 3 to 5 people a day, just based off of the odds. Here's another faster pace option. And again, these are going to be in our Rising Jewels Accountability Group Facebook page, but just to give you an idea of different options that you have here. And then this one is a slower pace option, where you can see here it's like 1 new reach out a day, 1 new follow up with a potential customer. So it shows you it goes a little bit slower. And again, you get to pick the pace that you want to go, because this is your business and you know what your goals are. So now that you've seen those forms, here are some examples of how to document your weekly work. And again, no one's going to get kicked out of this group, but this is for you and your business. This is you showing up to your business as a professional, as the CEO over your business. Because if you're just willy-nilly sending out messages to so many people and then you just don't remember, you're not keeping track of them, it's going to be easy to let them fall through the cracks. And then you're just messaging the same 3 people over and over and over until they block you. So we don't want that to happen. So here's some examples of how to document your weekly work. So I just took that very first form as an example. So example 1 is I'm going to put just the names of the people that I reached out to that week. Here's some names of the people that I followed up with that week. Then I'm going to say here, my social media, I go Monday through Sunday, and I kind of write out, okay, I did a story, I did a post, I did a story and a post. Because what I've found is that I'll think I'm doing a lot of work on social media, and then I'll go back to my work and I'm like, oh no, I've only posted once this week. Even though I'm on social media a lot for my job, I didn't post as much as I thought. So again, this is so good, excuse me, for you to be reflective. Excuse me. You'll see to the right the training daily, like I just wrote out some examples. John Maxwell podcast Monday and Wednesday, Brittany Howard podcast Tuesday, High Performance Habits, I read a couple pages Monday through Friday. It does not need to be perfect. Like, people are not looking through and grading your stuff, you guys. This is for you. This is for your business. Down here, like I said, for the goals for the week, just as an example, I wrote birthdays daily, 5 reach outs and 5 follow-ups Monday through Friday. Check in on 2 customers every day. Post or do stories every day. Take advantage of team event this Wednesday. And a thing here like wins for the week. This is something that we always ask you guys to share. Like, what is a win? What's something that you're proud of for the week? Because we can all learn from those things. So an example, wins for the week. Goals were good for me, and they kept me focused on actual work rather than scrolling and feeling overwhelmed. So I want to stop there on that. because I think often and you might be feeling this right now as like I'm going through this, you might feel a little bit of overwhelm, or you might feel like, I just don't know my time margin. I don't know my capacity that I can sit down and do these things. But I'm going to tell you that you can. Like, there are so many different people and so many different lifestyles of people, ranging all the way from single men to moms who are homeschooling 12 kids that have gotten to the top of the company. It's all about being organized, being proactive, so that way when you sit down to work, you know what you're going to be doing. And that's what this weekly checklist is so important for, because it tells you what you need to do. You're not left guessing. This is the ingredient, the recipe for success. Okay, another example. This is kind of ugly looking. This is just one I just found on mine. It obviously is not fully done, but this is one that I found on mine. I just keep a notepad, a spiral notepad, and I just make little columns so that way I know who I'm reaching out to, and I'll document all of those different categories that we had on the other forms. I just put it into a spiral notebook, and I have probably 15 of them. So I can always go back if I'm thinking, oh, I need to follow up with somebody. Oh my gosh, I forgot I haven't talked to Leah in forever. I need to follow up with her. So all that to show, it does not have to be perfect. I just want you to document it. Here are a few quick tips on with your work, what this could look like for you for growth. Daily birthday messages for connection and value adding. One business focused message a day, because our goal here is to find and create leaders. And if you're only focusing on the products, then you're only going to get product users. But if you are sharing about the business in your stories or in your post, in your messages, in your reach outs, then you're going to likely catch the attention of some business builders. It may not happen quick. It probably won't happen quick, and you may not get a ton of them, but you won't get any of them if you're not focusing on business. At least one leadership focused training a week, because we know that everything rises and falls on leadership. You are the leader of your business. So it's super important to step into that role and raise your leadership lid. Grow your network and find new friends. Get social and try to post or do stories 5 to 6 days a week and interact with people. I would set your alarm for maybe 15 minutes after you've done your non-negotiables that we just shared a few minutes ago. Set your alarm for 15 minutes and connect with other people, or do that at the beginning, but make sure that you are not going in that deep, dark, black hole of social media. Make sure you're intentional with your time and your connections. And then lastly, watch or read a testimonial before reaching out and following up. That's really going to build your belief. So you're going to turn in your completed work, that form, whichever one you want to do, whether it's a spiral, whether you're printing out a form or you have it on your phone. You're just going to take a screenshot, and then you're going to turn it in to our Rising Jewels Accountability Group Facebook page. We're going to have a post every Sunday, so you need to make sure that you turn it in the comments Monday before 4 p.m. MST, which is 5 p.m. CST. And what that does is that helps your leaders who are running the different small groups. That's going to help us put together content for our group call. We want to have fruit. We want to have depth in our call, and that comes from what is working for you guys. Maybe we've got some problems that we need to do coaching through. So that's super important for you. And also, this is accountability group. That is a really great way to stay accountable and for your team to see you being accountable by turning in your form every week. We also have our weekly accountability group Zoom, which you're on right now. We have it every Monday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And so what that looks like, our Zoom flow is the very first 10 minutes, you're going to have some sort of jewel-led training where we're all together. And then I'm going to pull up 3 different breakout rooms. So that way we can spend the last 20 minutes in a smaller group where we can learn from one another, where people might feel a little bit more comfortable talking, where it's not as large of a group. So you'll see, and you'll get comfortable if you are unsure of what that looks like. We're going to actually give you an example in a few minutes. We're going to break out into small groups in a few minutes. But if you have troubles with it, if you are tech not not techie, I'm the same, then you can just ask me and I can put you in which group you need to be in. But if you are on Kara's team, and if you don't know who these people are, ask your person who invited you here. Okay, whose team are we on? If you're on Kara's team, you'll go to group 1. If you're on Hannah, Liz, or Lacey's team, you'll go to group 2. And then everyone else gets to come with me to group 3. What we also are going to do is after the 30 minutes of that accountability group, so you saw that Zoom flow, that happens for 30 minutes. And then right at 30 minutes, then we transition to our book study. And the book study is going to be by rank for everybody. And I'm super, super excited about it. We're going over the High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. Your Jules and I went over it this spring, and it was really, really good. It's just like Atomic Habits, but really intentional on leadership. And so, as we know, like I said, everything rises and falls on leadership. So I'm really excited for us to up-level our leadership, up-level our businesses by really being intentional and studying these high-performance habits. So what that's going to look like is if you are a brand new ambassador all the way to like right at the, at the very tip of like super silver, what is it? Super silver? I think it's super silver. Then you're going to be in group 1, and that's going to be led by Kara and Liz. So an emerald and a sapphire are going to be leading that book study by rank. If you are a gold, so 100 pay points all the way to 249 pay points, you're going to be in the book study group 2, but the breakout room group 2, led by Hannah and Lacey. That's a sapphire and an emerald. And then if you're senior gold and above, you're going to join me in group 3. Super excited about that. These by rank groups have been really beneficial, just so we can, run ideas off of one another. We can have different people that we know are in the same position as us that we can run with. It's amazing. Screenshot this. Yeah.
Hey, Ann. You were the audio was out for just a little bit, so I don't think anyone heard you about the group 2. Who is in the group 2?
Has it been cutting out? I'm so sorry.
It hasn't, just this part.
Okay. Thank you, Kara. Thanks for interrupting because I don't see anybody on here. Okay, so what I was saying, what I was saying is that for group 2, if you're gold, like 100 points, pay points to 249 pay points, then you're going to fall in the gold group, and that's going to be group 2, led by Hannah and Lacey, and then senior gold and above is going to be with me in group 3. Take a screenshot of this. We will also send you guys this as well, but this is what your High Performance Habits reading schedule is going to be like. And it's a little bit challenging because I wasn't able to do like, okay, just read chapter 1 and 2, read chapter 4 and 5, because the chapters, just trust me. This was the flow that we did with our Jules, so we're going to do it in this way as well. You're going to notice that we are not meeting on November 6th, or is that 6th? Yeah. So you'll see here for our calendar, we're going to be meeting every Monday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard for the 30 minutes accountability, and then at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time. At 7:30, then we'll do the book study for another 30 minutes. So it's a full hour of your time on Monday, but it's just 1 hour a week. And there's a lot of depth and a lot of fruit. We will not be meeting on November 6th because a lot of us will be coming back from our cruise that we will have just earned. So we won't be meeting on the 6th. If there is a scheduled team call, we tend to have the first Monday of every month is our team call, which is so good. We will still continue to do accountability groups, so we'll stay on that link. That's the team call, but we'll just do a shortened accountability and a shortened book study. And then we wanted to end the accountability group with something really fun, and I'm really excited. So this is a way to celebrate all of us for sticking with accountability, for doing the hard things, and celebrating one another. So we're going to do a Secret Sister Christmas party, Zoom style, on December 18th. So that's our last accountability group. We won't talk business. We're just going to party. So I'm super excited about that. And then I saw this quote. It's from Bruce Lee, okay, which is hilarious, but it's from Bruce Lee. But I saw this quote and I was like, man, this is so good. He says, the successful warrior is an average man with laser-like focus. And that just goes hand in hand with what we are shifting to in our momentum and in our movement as a team, shifting to this laser-like focus. Because if you know what you're focused on, if you know what you're working towards, then you are going to figure out a way to get there. And so, with this accountability group, I really like the idea, and this is one of the questions in the in the survey is excuse me, is to figure out you guys, I'm so sorry. Excuse me. It's to figure out where you want to be 3 months from now. Now, of course, if you're a gold ambassador, don't say in 3 months I want to be a diamond. Like, I want it to be something that you actually are able to work towards. I don't want it to be too small to where you're not getting out of your comfort zone, but I don't want it to be so massive that you feel defeated before you even begin. So I want you to look at where you want to be 3 months from now. And then you need to break that down, just like Kara's video. Let's break that down. What does that require? So if you're a gold ambassador and you want to get to senior gold in 3 months, that's possible. So now we've got to figure that out. And so you break that down by mapping. So what is that going to look like? Okay, maybe that looks like you are enrolling at least 3 people yourself every single month. And then you're helping one of those people go silver every single month. And I don't want you guys to hear this and be like, oh yeah, that's so impossible. It's not. If you have that laser-like focus where you have your eyes on the prize and you know where you're going to be in 3 months and you know what that's going to take, you change the way that you show up to your business. There is this confidence and this focus, and it changes you. And so I just want us all to see this, that you don't have to be an influencer. You don't have to look a certain way or have a certain type of personality. Just like he says here, that's an average man, but that average man turns into a successful warrior with that laser-like focus. So I hope that encourages you guys the way that it did me. And this is us. Here we go. Operation Stop the Float, Start the Focus. I'm super, super excited for what we have to come for our accountability group for 2024 or 2023 as we end out this quarter. Does anybody have any questions before we transition into just our small breakout groups?
Abby had a question about the book study, and is it the rank based on your current points or your highest achieved?
That's a great question. If you hit, gold in your entire career with Plexus, but you might be at 15 pay points right now, you are still in the gold group. So it is your is that how I would say it? Your highest achieved. So if you are a Ruby ambassador, if you hit Ruby ambassador a couple years ago, but maybe you haven't re-hit it in a couple of months, you are still in that senior gold and above group because you are a Ruby. Any other questions I missed? Yeah, Dayanita, Kara had that great video on the Make It to Mexico. If you guys are unfamiliar with that, I think we have it all in the hashtag Make It to Mexico. And so you can just put that in the search bar in Rising Jewels and all of the different challenges should show up. Anybody else? Oh, good, Kara. Thank you. Senior silver. I always get senior silver and super silver mixed up. Okay. Anybody else? Questions? No. Okay. So let's go ahead and try this out a little bit. Next Monday will be our official first accountability group, where it won't be like this, where we'll have that 10 minutes of training and then transition into the different groups. So we're going to go ahead right now and transition into those different groups for accountability groups. So if you are on Kara Carrington's team, raise your hand, Kara. You're going to be in group 1. You can take however long you want. It's 7:35 right now. I think, yeah, take however long you and your team want, and then you can log out. If you're under Kara Carrington's team, you're going to be in group 1. If you're under Hannah, Liz, or Lacey, you're going to be in group 2. And then everybody else is going to come with me to group 3. So just be patient for just a second as I'll pull up this breakout room. If you don't know where you need to be, feel free in just a second to unmute yourself and I can put you where you need to go. All right, you should see something pop up. And so you should be able to join the group you need to be in. And don't feel uncomfortable or nervous or anxious if you don't know where you need to go. I will help you.
Hey, Emily, it's Tanya.
Okay.
Can you put me in the right room? I'm driving.
Yes. Okay, hold on 1 second. Anybody else need me to help you? So yes, Amanda, this is for our small group. So Amanda, you're going to go into my group, group 3. I'm going to assign you there.
Can you move me into Kara's?
Was that Ashley that just said that?
Yeah.
Okay, Ashley, I'll move you to Kara's, and then Caitlin, I'll move you to mine with that sweet baby. And then Megan, if you can tell me who your upline is. I'm so sorry, I don't know right now. I'm going to go ahead and put you in here. I think maybe that's where you are.
The recording in progress.
We'll figure out.